Earlier today, Iran's supreme leader vowed revenge, saying in part, "You killed our dear guest in our house and have paved the way for your harsh punishment." And now it seems he's making good on that promise.
Joining us now to unpack all of this and what it means for the U.S. is retired Brigadier General Anthony Tata and Behnam Ben Taleblu from the Foundation of Defense of Democracies. General, we'll start with you. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that he won't listen to allies who want to end this war. And now Iran is vowing harsh punishment. The U.S., of course, is one of Israel's closest allies. So if Iran attacks Israel, how will the U.S. respond?
Well, great question. With the Biden-Harris administration, it's been a very mixed bag. You know, the support for Israel and support for Hamas and the Palestinians. They're trying to have it both ways. And this is the folly of trying to cater to Iran. Maximum pressure, as President Trump had on Iran, was working, and it was keeping them on their heels and constraining their resources. Now Iran is flush with cash. Hezbollah and Hamas and the Shia militia groups that surround Israel are flush with weapons from that cash. And we find ourselves on the brink of literally a world war because Iran and China and Russia are allied together, and Israel has to defend itself and is conducting strategic strikes that disable or at least limit the capabilities of the Iranian militia groups.
Behnam, the top Hamas leader who was killed was the person negotiating a ceasefire deal with Israel. So can we just assume that deal is now dead?
Well, I think it's highly likely that you're about to see an uptick in the multi-front regional war that the Islamic Republic is orchestrating against the Jewish state. Does that mean any kind of potential hostage deal is off the table permanently? No, I don't think so. But right now, I think is the time to kind of circle the wagons and think more creatively about defense, given not just who was killed, but where he was killed. That's in the capital of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
So, gentlemen, here's what the State Department said about the conflict today. Take a listen to this.
Our message to any country, to any entity, whether it be the Iranian regime or otherwise, is the call for de-escalation and to not take any actions that would lead the region into wider conflict.
So, General, we'll start with you. If tensions keep escalating and the U.S. does get more involved, what will that fighting look like? Is this all done from the air with drones and missiles?
Yeah, well, I think the U.S. Main vital interest in the region, Chris, is to protect Israel. And when Iran launched those 300-some missiles at Israel a few months ago, the U.S. Navy tucked in tight along the coast in the Med there next to Israel, and helped intercept some of those drones and rockets that came at Israel. And I think you would see very much the same thing. I would, you know, if I was in my old position as the Undersecretary for Policy in DOD, I would be encouraging the president to send a carrier strike group into the Persian Gulf to deter Iran from ever doing this, because the capability we have combined with the capability Israel has, I don't think Iran wants that fight.
Behnam, is there any way for Israel to eliminate Hamas without any further escalation with Iran?
Well, what we've seen really since October 8th is the Islamic Republic bringing different tentacles it's either created or co-opted throughout the Middle East online to avoid precisely the scenario you mentioned, which is the military and political defeat of Hamas. And it's trying to bail out Hamas by establishing this ring of fire and then changing the volume on that ring of fire over time. So in short, I don't think, you're going to have an Israeli political and military success in the Gaza Strip without more escalation by this Iran-backed terror network. But that makes the imperative for victory against Hamas all the more important to deterring, countering, and rolling back this region-wide terror network.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both for being with us to unpack this late-breaking news tonight.